back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back. Today we are receiving more bad news coming out from the market as the Federal Reserve preparing to raise up another 75 basic point this quarter. And we are preparing for this mindset because their meeting is coming up in the next week or 2 weeks from now. So something we are going to talk about right now, the Federal Reserve is planning to hike up another 75 basic point in order to tame inflation. And they did acknowledge by stating the fact that we are prepared to suffer financial pain. And the Federal Reserve is not backing up from their position. They are not slowing down as inflation continues to rise. And the Federal Reserve will do whatever it is necessary to tame inflation by putting the U.S. economy at risk into a recession here. And we have covered our core CPI data even rose above 8.3% in August from a year over year. And things are not looking good as inflation continues to rise. And the Federal Reserve is saying, hey, prepare for more regulatory enforcement here. So that's what we are seeing from the market. Okay, folks, let's look at CEO and let's hear from them. As of right now, CEO optimism for the economy is dropping for the third straight quarter. So what we are seeing that is that executives from many well-known corporations in the United States are very fearful with the performance of the U.S. economy. And they are sensing that the U.S. economy might enter a recession within next year. And right now we are in a technical recession. So that is what we are expecting from the market. We are not surprised that the U.S. economy is slowing down. And we are seeing signs of pullback within the market. So a lot of concern are coming out as CEO optimism for the U.S. economy has dripped for the third straight quarter. And this is just a bad news as global economic uncertainty continues to temper CEO sentiment for domestic plan and expectation. While a lot of crises are going on, we have talked about the Ukraine-Russian crisis. We have talked about the Pacific region crisis dealing with the Chinese economy and the Taiwanese economy. So there are a lot of conflict within the region, and we are going to prepare for a mindset of a possibility of the U.S. entering a recession. Okay, folks, let's look at the U.S. economy, where we are performing right now. So things are not looking great from across the board, and we are going to look at the global economy too as of right now. Let's look at our Dow Industrial is down more than 248 points. Our S&P 500 is down more than 57 points. Our Nasdaq is down more than 265 points. So a lot of stuff are going, and our VIX number continue to rise as recession concerns continue to mount. Let's look at Germany. Let's look at France. Let's look at Great Britain, European Union, Italy, Switzerland. In Spain, we are talking about Russian. Let's look at this Singapore, I believe. So a lot of market across the board within the European sector, we are seeing a lot of negativity within the market. Sentiment within the European economy is dwindling. And let's look at the Asian market is dwindling. We are going to look at Brazil here. Still in the negative territory. Japan is in the negative territory. Hong Kong is in the negative territory. China is in the negative territory. It's lockdown in China. So Singapore is in the negative territory. Australia is in the negative territory. Look at India. Let's look at South Korea, South Africa, and Germany. So across the global market, which we are looking at right now, things are not looking good, folks, as global economic slowdown is triggering. And investors from many countries are preparing for the worst of the worst as the Federal Reserve or the central bank of each corresponding nation continue to raise up their interest rate, causing an economic slowdown and a fear of a recession. So, folks, things are not looking good, and be prepared if the U.S. enters a recession because it could likely enter one. Okay, folks, what data did release this Thursday? A lot of stuff though. Initial jobless claim came out to be lower than expected, which is great though. But however, with this data coming out, the Federal Reserve is very confident that they are willing to raise up another 75 basis point, and they are sensing that the U.S. economy can withstand tighter monetary policy from the Federal Reserve. And let's look at retail sale is up by 0.3%. Retail sales excluding vehicles down by -3%. Let's look at Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index. So we see lack of activity within the Philadelphia region is down nearly 10% negatively. Let's look at New York City. Basically, New York City is a beat forecast. Forecast was around -13.8%, but number came out to be a bit higher than expected. Import price index is down by 1, so really underperformed the market expectation. Industrial production index, we are seeing a -0.2. So this means is that less factory or manufacturing product, and as a result, we are seeing supply chain crisis. So there are gonna be a lot of stuff coming out from the market, and we are prepared for that mindset here. Let's look at capacity utilization. Still not that shocking. Let's look for Friday. So Friday, U.S. University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index will be released for the month of September. And also for 5-year consumer inflation expectation. A lot of great stuff are coming out within tomorrow. So the next week, we are going to be hearing a lot of data, especially then with the housing market right here. And we are going to hear the conference about from Federal Reserve Jerome Powell on Wednesday, September 21. So a lot of stuff are going to come out too next week too. And so that's what we are prepared for. Let's look forward, folks. Okay, as rising interest rates continue to be hiked by the Federal Reserve, tech companies are continuing to lay off their workforce as intense pressure from the market, and we are prepared for that mindset. So be prepared of being laid off from your employer as things continue to get rough because a recession might come in, and there are a high chance of us experiencing a recession within the next couple of months. So don't be shocked if you have been laid off by your employer, because that is possibly high right now. So Patreon decided to lay off 20% of their workforce. You know what Patreon is? It's for influencers to have this platform on Patreon. Basically, it's a membership for Patreon. And that's how they are able to accrue membership for a supporter who's willing to support a Patreon. And they say, hey, due to tighter monetary policy, we are pulling back from the market, and we just decided to cut our staff and within many region. Let's look more. So Twilio decided to lay off 11% of their workforce. They are just sensing the strong pressure from the market as the Federal Reserve continues to hike the interest rate. So a lot of pressure are coming out from the Federal Reserve as they try to tame inflation, and this could put the U.S. economy at risk, with many institutions are declaring bankruptcy and have enforced significant cut measure within their institution. So this is our latest tech company that decided to do so, which is Twilio. And according to their headcount as of December 31st, 2021, they have around nearly 7,900 employees. And as right now, they are pulling back from the market, and things are not looking good, folks, as the recession is coming for a very long perspective here. Okay, folks, so in the end of what are my thoughts with the market as right now, we are in a great sense of uncertainty as recession concern continues to mount, and the Federal Reserve is not backing down. So be prepared for another 75 basis point, and we are expecting more bad news to come out within the next couple of weeks here. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.